All right, hey everyone, my name is Luther Maddie, your favorite local realtor, and I'm coming to you today with your monthly markets update. Today is Monday, October 10th. Sorry, I know I'm a little bit late. I usually try to get this video out towards the first week of the month, but just been a bit delayed, had a lot going on, but nonetheless, here we are. Hope you guys had a great weekend. I personally didn't really do too much. Had a couple of showings, worked a little bit, hung out with the family, watched some football. Unfortunately, my Hokies took another L, kind of an embarrassing loss to Pitt. But I will say this, they are playing a little bit better, so don't get too down on the Hokies. It's kind of a rebuild year. But anyways, enough of that. Let's go ahead and dive into the real estate world. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about some real estate. As you can see, the sun's kind of coming in here. I'm sitting next to the window, so let's try to speed up this video a little bit. But the first topic is going to be the active homes on market. As it currently sits, we do have 357 single family homes that are available for sale in the Lynchburg area market. My numbers come straight from the LAR, which is the Lynchburg Association of Realtors. If you compare that number to what it was last month in September when we did this video, it was at 373. So we actually have less inventory now. We're a month later. So that is actually quite surprising with the raise in rates and things of that sort. You would expect that would have a bit more inventory. I think we'll actually start seeing the effect of those increases in the interest rates probably towards the end of this month and the beginning of November. So although inventory is still slim pickings right now, it is expected to get a little bit larger in terms of numbers of houses available within the next month or two. So stay tuned. Okay, interest rates. That's obviously a hot topic and for great reasoning. So after talking to a few local lenders in the area, folks that I trust with my clients and a lot of my clients have used to purchase their homes, they're saying rates are right about a 7% currently. That's obviously a drastic change compared to what it was earlier this year, and especially towards the end of the year last year. I actually was talking to somebody over at Cava on Old Forest, and I was grabbing some lunch, had a pickup order, and I was talking to him about the market. I mentioned that we're at right about a 7% currently, and he about jumped out of his chair. He was so surprised. He bought his house not too long ago at a 4%, so he just couldn't believe that the rates have raised that much to 7%, but that's where we are at currently. So what I want to do is kind of talk a little bit about your purchasing power. So let's look at this chart above. So if you look at this chart, let's say you were to get a home loan at about a $400,000 price point there. At a 6%, your monthly payment, this is just principal and interest only, would be just a little bit above $2,300. Now if you increase that interest rate to a 7%, your monthly payment will then increase to a little bit above $2,600. So that's a great example of how the interest rates can tie in with your monthly payment. As this chart would suggest, as rates go up, the amount you can afford or borrow would also decrease. So a lot of my clients have been doing was they'll just find out what monthly payment they're most comfortable with after doing some budgeting. And based off that monthly payment amount, they'll go ahead and figure out what kind of house can they find at this particular price point. Now, if you can't find anything, then you just can't find anything. You continue to stay in your current home or continue to rent for a little bit of a while until you find something that best meets your needs. Now, you have other folks that already own a home and looking to either downsize or get something a little bit bigger as they're growing their family. They may currently have a 3 or 4% interest rate. And in that sort of circumstance, it may not make any sense to really make that transition where you'll buy a house that might be a little bit inflated and also pay a higher interest rate on it. So what you really need to do is just sit down with your favorite local realtor, hopefully that's me, or just somebody that you trust, and do a buyer's consultation. Really run the numbers and figure out, should you really be buying a home right now in today's current market? All right, guys, that sun's really coming in. We started off right about here. Now it's up against my face. So let's go ahead and conclude this video. The last thing that I wanted to mention is the average days on market. I looked at the average days on market for the last 6 months in the Lynchburg area MLS, and that number is right at 20 days. So basically the same thing it was last month when we did our video. It was at 19 at the beginning of September. So as I mentioned, you are seeing sellers pay more closing costs nowadays. You are seeing homes sit on the market a little bit longer, and you are seeing more price reduction. So the market's definitely shifting. Hopefully you guys can find ways to make it work for you, and for others, it just may not be a good time for you to buy or a good time for you to sell. So what you need to do is sit down with your favorite local realtor, as I mentioned earlier. Hopefully that's me. If not me, somebody else that you trust, and figure out what's the best situation for you to meet your needs. All right, that'll conclude our video. If you guys have any questions, please reach out. My website is www.luthermaddyrealestate.com. Thanks for tuning in.